Hello and welcome back to Pick'em Playoff Edition. With the 8 local teams that we have, 3 of them got the mandatory 6 victories to move on to the playoffs. The first game that we're going to take a look at is Chippewa Hills at Alma. Chippewa Hills finished with a record of 6-3, Alma 7-2. On paper, this looks like a pretty even matchup. It's going to be a matter of whether Chippewa Hills can put points on the board, which brings me to my first question, Bob. What do the Warriors have to do to put points on the board in advance here?
Obviously, they have to have sustained drives. Get that offense moving. Last week they used 3 different quarterbacks. They all threw at least 1 touchdown pass. I don't see that happening this week. I think they're going to try to run basically to the outside. Alma's a little bigger than they are up front, so they're going to try to get to the outside with the running game and then set up the passing game with that. And they really have to sustain drives to get points on the board. Otherwise, it could be a long night for them.
Brandon, the staple of this Chippewa Hills team has been their defense. Would you suspect that they're going to have probably their best performance of the year to be advancing in the playoffs?
I'd imagine so. Alma's going to cause a big test for them. They're going to be a big test for Chip Hills, and it's going to take a lot for the defense to keep Alma contained. Between the 2 teams, their 5 losses have been to other playoff teams, so it's going to be a tough game for Chip, and I don't see him squeaking one out this week. I see Alma actually getting ahead and staying ahead and winning by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree. Chippewa Hills has beaten who they're supposed to beat so far this year. They haven't beaten any playoff teams, and I think that's probably the thing that stands out most about this team. I think they keep it close with their defense, but in the end, Alma's just too much for them. They'll win by a touchdown. The next game we're looking at is Kelloggsville versus Reed City. Reed City coming off an emotional season finale that allowed them to finish 9-0. They are the CSAA champions. They get Kelloggsville from West Michigan in the first round, a team that's 6-3, but has been tested in West Michigan with some maybe higher caliber teams. Bob, does that give Kelloggsville an advantage coming into this game when maybe they've played some higher caliber teams on a weekly basis?
Talking to Monty Price, that's exactly what scares him. He said that they're very athletic. You have to tackle them. You got to get to them. And they have played a little better competition. And he knows that even though they're 6-3, they're an explosive team, and that record's a little bit deceiving. And they got to come ready to play. Otherwise, they're not going to be 9-0 anymore, and the season's going to come to an abrupt end. I don't see it happening this week. I think Reed City will last 1 more week and should win. I think it'll be a tight game down to the end, but I think they win this one, kind of a 27-24 kind of game.
Regardless of where you come from, 9-0 is a pretty special accomplishment for Reed City. Brandon, what makes this Reed City team so special, and can they keep the undefeated season going?
It was an emotional year for Reed City. They had, unfortunately, a teacher pass away earlier in the year, and they've banded together, and they've faced everything that's come their way, and they've come together and won when they've needed to. They beat Morley Stanwood. They beat a tough Manistee team who was in the playoffs as well earlier in the year. What it's going to take for Reed City is to play strong and to start off right away against a very good Kelloggsville team.
Yeah, Reed City is a team that when you look at them on paper, there's nothing that really stands out about them that they do spectacularly. But they're a team that is always going to band together late in the game, and you kind of just get the feeling that they're going to win in tight situations. I've got them winning, pulling away late in this one by a couple touchdowns. The final game we're looking at today is Morley Stanwood at Shelby, pitting a pair of 8-1 teams against each other in maybe the most intriguing matchup of the 3 playoff games this week. Bob, Morley Stanwood, maybe the most explosive offensive team in the area. What do they have to do to get a win against the Shelby team this week?
I think this game's going to be a shootout. Both offenses actually can put points on the board. So for Morley Stanwood to advance to the second round, they need stops defensively. Their offense is going to score points. They have all season, and I don't see that stopping. But their defense has been a little suspect the last couple of weeks, giving up 27 to Lakeview. They gave up 28, I believe, to Central Montcalm last week. They got to make some stops. If they make some stops, they'll win this game, and I think they will.
Brandon, this is a Morley Stanwood team that put up 70 last week against Central Montcalm, who's not necessarily a pushover team. They definitely have the offense, but like Bob mentioned, the defense maybe a cause for concern against some higher caliber teams like a Shelby. Do you see the defense being a concern, and who do you have winning this one?
I think when you go on the road, defense is always a concern, especially in the playoffs. You are playing Central Montcalm, but then you're looking at Shelby, who is 8-1 as well as Morley Stanwood, and Morley Stanwood's the one going on the road to face these guys. It's going to be a tough game for Morley Stanwood. Like Bob said, it's going to be a shootout, I believe, but I think in the end, Shelby's going to get the better of the powerhouse that Morley Stanwood is, probably by 1 or 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, this is going to be a shutout, and I think this will be one of the more fun playoff games that we've seen in recent years. I actually have Morley Stanwood winning this one in a really tight, high-scoring affair. That's going to do it for this week, taking a look at the playoffs. Once again, make sure to check out www.bigrapidsnews.com for coverage of all of these games in the weekend edition of the Pioneer.